Having a website is the #1 most important thing that you can do for your business or personal brand in 2024.
Welcome back to another nonprofit website case study video. In this video today, we are going to be reviewing the Ngong Children's Foundation. As I've said before, and will say in all coming nonprofit website case study videos, the purpose of these videos is for education purposes only. The purpose of these videos is to help nonprofit founders, CEOs, communication officers, website designers to know what the nonprofit website best practices are, to see them in action in real time, in real life, as well as to see the strengths and weaknesses of applying or not applying various elements on your nonprofit website. So without further ado, we are going to get into this website case study. And as usual, we always start with the mission statement on the hero section of the website. And you see here, they say that they are providing education and transforming lives. And at the bottom, it says that they are empowering Nairobi children living in poverty to transform their lives through education and support, which should lead to employment. Now, if you're going to make such a bold statement on your website, please ensure that you have case studies to qualify that statement. If you say that it's leading to employment, then you should have a way of tracking your beneficiaries towards employment until they get employed, and then you can use those numbers to validate your claim. Otherwise, I would say that that is a very bold statement that could actually get your nonprofit into trouble if you don't actually qualify that with quantitative data that you have tracked over time. So with that out of the way, we can see that the hero section also has a donate button, and it's, as we've seen from all previous nonprofit website case studies until now, almost all the websites, if not all the websites that we have covered so far, have a dedicated button on the header section for donation. That I believe that I would recommend that as a best practice, because you want to imagine that some of your donors are going to be 50 plus, 60 plus, and so you want to make sure that the most important things for them to find are easy for them to find on your website. So with that out of the way, we are going to look at the header section, the primary menu. We want to see what is there, and we want to learn and see whether they are applying the best practices or not. Now, as we've said in a previous video, in one of actually the cornerstones of this particular series, which is the 10 elements of well optimized or of an effective nonprofit website, we shared in that video the 10 most important elements for you to consider your nonprofit website to be effective. If you have not seen that video yet, we are going to link it for you in the card section above, as well as in the description bar below. So we talked about that one of the best practices for your nonprofit's website primary menu is to have 4 elements and below. Do not do more than that, because it just becomes visually overwhelming. It becomes visually overwhelming. So you do not want to overwhelm your website visitor, your donors, your potential donors, potential volunteers, potential partners, potential sponsors, because it will just put them off and they will just end up leaving your website. So we recommend having an about section that houses your team, your blog, any resources you want to share. All those should be under the about section. You want to talk about your programs. Your programs should be under impact. That is where you share your beneficiaries, testimonials, annual reports, impact reports should be under your impact, like having an impact section. That is where you put your programs, your beneficiaries, annual reports, financial reports, right? Then you should always have a designated button for donation. And then after that, you can have one last final section that says work with us. Now, when you say work with us, that is the place where you attract volunteers. That is the place you attract mentors. That is the same place you talk to your sponsors directly. Under the work with us, you have people who you want to work with, who you want to partner with long term. So I'm just going to go through that list one more time to make sure that we are together. You want to make sure that your header primary menu does not have more than 4 elements. What are those 4 elements? Number 1, about us. Under the about us section, you want to have your team, you want to have your blog, you want to have any additional resources you want to share. The next section is going to be impact. You want to talk about your programs, you want to talk about your beneficiaries, you want to talk about your annual reports, you want to talk about your financial reports. Then after that, you have work with us. That segment is for your volunteers. That segment is for any mentors that you want to invite to come and be of value to your beneficiaries. You want to have the section where you talk to sponsors directly. Now, these are people who you want to work with, you want to partner with your nonprofit for the long term. Then finally, you have the donate button, which is where people go to donate to your website directly. So we're going to scroll through this website and see what are their strengths and weaknesses, what we can learn, what can be implemented on your particular nonprofit website. So you can see here that we have a video. We're not going to play this video. I'll leave a link to this particular nonprofit's website in the description bar below, so you can check them out to do a further case study on your own. one of the things that we talked about in the video about the top 10 elements of an effective nonprofit website is strong visuals. Now, when we say strong visuals, we mean visuals that are emotionally moving, and that can be in the way of images or video. And you can see here that they're leveraging video, which is something that we highly recommend. Then they have a section about who they are. Again, you can see that they are leveraging strong visuals, which I think these are beneficiaries of their program. That is very highly commendable. Then you can see under that they have more, they're leveraging testimonials. This is part of social proof and is very important for any nonprofit website. Then they have some numbers. Now, I wish that these numbers were more prominent, because numbers are actually very important, and we'll talk about showcasing numbers on your website in a very separate video. So to make sure you don't miss that video, be sure to subscribe and turn on your post notification bell to be notified when that video goes live. So further down, you can see now they're asking for donations. I wish this donation section was more prominent. I wish it was like more compelling. I think that they could have done a better job with that. And then we have reached their footer section. So the number one thing I will say about their footer section is we can see that it has been donated. Like, it has been, sorry, when I say donated, I mean like marked, like clearly marked to be a separate part of the website. So I think that is very, very commendable. You can see that they also have, they're giving donors a chance to donate in their footer section. That is also very commendable. You can see that they have, they're sharing their location. Yes, you should always as a nonprofit share a location where people can come and physically see you and your team and have a chat with you physically, okay? And if you're somehow an online only platform, then that should be very clearly articulated throughout your website, okay? You can see that they also have social icon buttons at the footer section, and they're all correctly linked to where they're supposed to be. And then finally, they have their partner section, where they have listed some of their partners that they've partnered with before. Now, aside from reorganizing it, I would say that this is actually an effective footer. The only feedback or the only thing that we would add from our end as Standard Digital is perhaps just reorganize it and make sure that it tells a story as opposed to just being another feature on the website. Now, before we end the video, please know that we are going to be covering the donation page in the next video. So if you don't want to miss that video, make sure you subscribe and turn on your post notification bell to be notified when that video goes live. And with that, we'll see you in the next one.